9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
M1D performance is nominal.
Successful liftoff for Falcon 9 from pad
Power and
39A
telemetry nominal.
at Kennedy Space Center. There we just heard that power and telemetry is nominal. After stage separation, stage 1 will start to make its way back to Earth for its landing on our drone ship, and stage 2 will continue its journey along with the third event, SCS-1 or Second Engine Start 1, where MVAC will ignite and begin to propel the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. Expecting MECO in about 10 seconds.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
All right, on your screen there, we have visual confirmation of those three events. MVAC is now ignited and beginning to develop that warm orange glow. The next event we have coming up is fairing deployment.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There on your screen, we now see those 60 Starlink satellites. Those fairings will make their way back to Earth as well. Like I mentioned before, we won't be able to bring live coverage of the recovery attempt for those fairings, as they'll be happening after we close our webcast. So be sure to check in on our social media accounts for updates on that. Second stage telemetry looks good. Everything is nominal there. Now, as it heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, first stage there on the left-hand side of your screen will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. There on the left-hand side of your screen, we see the first stage continuing to coast. After stage separation, after main engine cutoff and stage separation,
acquisition of signal Bermuda.
It actually continues on an upward trajectory. Its maximum height gets about 132 kilometers, and right about now, it should have reached its apogee and now beginning to make its descent, coasting using its grid fins.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Good call out there, indicating nominal trajectory. Everything's looking good for both the first and second stages. Like I mentioned, we have visual confirmation that the first of 2 burns, the entry burn, has begun. And this will last for about another 5 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
All right, shutdown of those. Again, that was performed with 3 engines. Checking in on the second stage, everything continues to look nominal there. Trajectory is looking good.
Both vehicles can. Terminal guidance.
Stage 1, landing burn, start up.
All right, we heard the call out that the landing burn for stage 1 has begun. This will last about 20 seconds.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy.
All right, visual confirmation
Stage
there
1, landing confirmed.
that this booster has landed for a second time. There we see a live shot from our drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, I still love you. Hear the clapping and celebration of some of our first shift technicians here in the building. Asked for Starlink this morning. We had an on-time liftoff from Cape Canaveral and saw a successful landing by Stage 1 made on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, out in the Atlantic Ocean. Second stage has been coasting along now as we are awaiting the deployment of these 60 Starlink satellites that you see stacked up there on your screen. So that deployment will be coming up here in about 10 seconds.
Starlink deploy confirmed.
There on your screen, we see the Starlink satellites have deployed, and using the momentum that they got from the slight spin around about the
rates.
central axis. What a beautiful sight. Shortly, these satellites will deploy their solar arrays, and over the next few days and weeks, they will distance themselves out from each other and use their onboard ion thrusters to make their way to operational orbit. Hello from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. My name is Kate Tice, Senior Certification Engineer here at SpaceX. You're watching a live webcast for our 12th Starlink mission and our 16th mission of 2020. To date, we've launched roughly 650 Starlink satellites to orbit. As a reminder, Starlink is a constellation of satellites that can provide high-speed, low-latency internet all over the globe, particularly in remote or rural areas where connectivity is limited or completely unavailable. We're currently just under T-minus 10 minutes, and all systems are currently go for an on-time liftoff this morning. If for any reason there is a hold on the countdown today, we do have a backup launch opportunity tomorrow at 8:24 a.m. Eastern. So there we can see a live view of Falcon 9, which is our two-stage liquid-fueled launch vehicle. Stands 229 feet tall, which is slightly taller than a 21-story building. The booster that we see there, today will be its second flight. It made its first flight back in June of this year on the GPS-3 mission for the U.S. Air Force. The bottom two-thirds of the vehicle is the first stage. You can see the soot markings left over from that flight earlier this year. The first stage accelerates